Hey, Gary here with Publisher Report. When it comes to creating or thinking about and finding ideas before you actually create a low content book, or any book really that you're going to publish on Amazon KDP, you're taking a look at Amazon and you're simply looking at bestsellers. In this case, bestsellers in word search games. These first two are not independently published, as well as they are spiral bound. So first off the bat, could you, should you? You can't, because they're spiral bound books. We cannot create spiral bound books. Next up is this autumn word search. This is independently published, but again, should you or could you? Now, if part of your idea and the thing you're building is a catalog of books that'll sell year round, this might be something you're interested in doing. So now you're going to dive into, should you and do you ultimately want to try to compete with this book? This book was published August 8th, 2022. Today is September 11th, 2022. And you can see that the bestseller, or it's number 3 in all of Amazon bestsellers under the category of word search games. So look at the categories that it's actually ranking in. All of the books, it's ranked at 2,000. Number 1 in acrostic puzzles, number 1 in puzzle dictionaries, number 2 in travel game books. So what they're doing is they're diving deep into categories and they're thinking, how can I compete in those categories with what is ultimately a simple book to create, a word search puzzle book that is about autumn. So if you were to open this up and take a look inside, it's going to give you a better idea of what actually is inside of this book. 1,200 words, autumn word search book, large print. And then you're going to scroll down and you're going to see that this is relatively easy. I've showed videos here. I'll leave a card up here in this video that easily shows you how you can create this type of interior with very simple tools. And then simply you're just coming up with a list of words. I even have my own membership where I sell these types of word lists. This book, this interior, is relatively simple to come up with. But should you? Acrostic puzzles. First of all, this is the number 1 bestseller in acrostic puzzles. What is a acrostic puzzle? Do your due diligence. Take some time to go through here and understand why, how, and should you be in this category, and then take a look at the top sellers where you can compete here. Because take a look at these real quick. The second one here is independently published. It was published in March 31st or on March 31st, 2022. And again, it's under acrostic puzzles, cryptic puzzles. The world that you're actually getting into when you're looking at these types of books and you're doing this type of research, in this case, you're looking at puzzle books, these types of puzzles that you create. You're going to need the tools to create them. You're going to need the word list to create them. You're going to have to invest time, effort, or finding someone that can create a cover that you think will compete with these books that are selling well. This goes back to the question, should I, do I want to? When you're looking at these, you have to understand the categories. In this case, we've gone down from books, humor and entertainment, puzzles and games, crosswords, acrostic, then they also have cryptic and dictionaries. If you go back, you can see that this one was actually ranking or is the number 1 bestseller in acrostic puzzles, but you can also see that it is ranking in puzzle dictionaries as well as travel games books. Now, I think that inside of travel games and books, this might be an opportunity to think about the types of books that you can create as well as the sizes. This is an 8.5 by 11. If we were to open up the bestsellers in travel games, again, we are taking a look at the things that we can compete with. Again, we're asking ourselves, can we compete? Should we compete? Of course, this is a spiral book. This is a spiral book. But here again is the autumn word search book. And it is number 2 in travel games. So the spiral bound books, obviously we can't compete with. This other one is Funster. But take a look. This is an 8.5 by 11. What I was interested in seeing in this category were these books. Are they all 8.5 by 11? This is 8.5 by 10. This is 8.5 by 11. This is 8.5 by 11. Again, 8.5 by 11. This book here, it doesn't say what size it actually is, but it's not an independently published book. Actually, that's a Kindle Unlimited book. Here's another one, 8.5 by 11. Again, Kindle Unlimited book. It's a riddle book we're mostly looking for things that you can write in when we're creating our paperbacks. But you can see a lot of these are spiral bound that are the ones that are ranking in this category. But the idea is to go through and again, take a look and say, can I compete? Would I be able to? Should I? Am I interested in this type of book other than just making the money? Of course, obviously, if you're in the publishing business, the end goal is to make money. But the idea and the concept here is to take a look and see, can I? Should I? What do I really think I will be able to do in this category? And if you want to know how I got here, sort of my thought process, I was actually looking at a keyword, and that keyword right here is challenging games for adults. Now, I am searching in the all category, meaning I'm looking here and I'm searching as someone inside of Amazon would search. I'm not even really thinking about books yet, but the way that I get there and the way that I really think about this is I go ahead and I drill down into books. And then I take that keyword and I go and I look for that keyword inside of books. And again, the results are going to come back and it's going to show me results. Here is an independently published book. Again, 8.5 by 11, a rather standard book. It is a word search for adults. And then it moves on here. That one actually isn't a bestseller. But the thing here is when you're also thinking about competing, you're thinking about the range that you're coming in here, 416,000. Versus a number one bestseller of 3,000. Of course, this is a completely different type of book, Ultimate Brain Games and Puzzles. But again, I believe it is an independently published book. Actually, no, it is a Red Randa Press book. So I'm just walking through this and I'm thinking to myself, can I compete? Should I compete? Then you're looking at different categories. Here you can see this is number one in cryptic puzzles. It's also number 10 in word search games. But they've also positioned themselves inside of the memory improvement and self-help category, which is another just niche and a offshoot of this idea of thinking about the type of book I create, what and where can I categorize it, and thinking, okay, I'm not just going to create a word search book. I'm going to create the ultimate brain games and puzzle books that is going to include, and then you go back and you look at what this includes. This includes fun brain teasers, trivia challenges, but it also has crosswords and word search, and then of course so much more to keep your mind young and engaged. You can see here that they're taking a different angle along the same lines of what I was actually searching for when I started searching, challenging games for adults. And you're thinking here, challenging games for adults in books. And then that brought me into Amazon bestsellers, where I started breaking down and Xing off the ones that I absolutely cannot compete with because they are simply spiral bound, or like number 5 here, it's a category or it's a group inside of this category of bestsellers, which is 8 large print word search books. I can't compete with this because this is a collection of books and I can't sell these. These are actually being sold by FBA sellers. They're not being sold by Amazon. But check this one out right here. This got me excited again. If I'm looking at books and I'm looking at the BSR and thinking, this book is doing well right now when I'm doing search again, or I'm doing my research again, this is September 11th, 2022. This is a summer word search book. If you were to deep dive into this and take a look at it, you can actually see that this book is an independently published book, published April 19th. It is again an 8.5 by 11. So you can see the general idea here is 8.5 by 11 books. I'm getting ideas. Also, I'm thinking to myself, should I? Do I want to? Can I compete with this book? Of course, you can see the cover. You can determine that for yourself if you're able to design that cover or if you're able to outsource that cover. And then again, the actual interior of the book, just like I've shown here on the channel, there are simple tools and you can get access to word lists or easily create them yourself. Very simply put this book together and then think about where and how I'm going to compete. You can see here this is currently ranking because it is a seasonal type book for summer word searches, but they've also ranked it in ocean and seas ecosystems, which I don't think those are legitimate, but maybe they thought that was a good idea. I would personally stay away from that. But again, you can see it's number 6 in word games inside of books. So that is the category we're going to be competing in. So back to where we started, inside of the bestsellers in word search games. And you can see that summer right here is number 6. And it is an independently published book. So I would say, yes, this is a place where you could compete if you were up to the challenge. and understand that most likely if you were to dig deeper into this book and the person or the author name, John D. Harper's, it's most likely he spent time, as you can see here on the page, he has created a brand based around his self-publishing business, and customers also bought items by Charles Timmerman, Funster. These are big brands that if you want to try to compete, just like John D. Harper's here with his summer word search book, you're going to have to create a unique book, and maybe just a seasonal book like this one, where he's able to tap in and hit this bestseller during the season that this book sells. Hopefully this was food for thought for you when you're doing your research for KDP and specifically low content books, and you're thinking about, can I compete? How can I compete? Where can I compete? And actually, do I want to even try to compete? If you have any questions, ask them in the comments and I'll talk to you later.